Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about Ella Fitzgerald, who's probably one of the most popular jazz singers of all time. Ella Fitzgerald was nicknamed the First Lady of Song, or Queen Ella. She was very famous for her scat singing. She was also known for her wide singing range, which spanned 3 octaves, and a very sweet-sounding voice. She won 13 Grammy Awards and the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. She recorded more than 200 albums throughout her career, which is about 2,000 songs, and her career spanned almost 6 decades. She was born in Virginia, 1917. She moved to Yonkers, New York when she was young, and her childhood dream was to become a dancer. She would go into the city with her friends and watch people perform at the Apollo Theater in Harlem. This is where she would later start her career. When she was a teenager, her mom and stepfather both died, and she moved in with her aunt. She went through a difficult time, skipping school often, and eventually ended up being sent to a reform school. She left when she was 15 and was basically on her own during the Great Depression. But despite that, she carried on and found her way and stumbled upon her singing career. In 1934, Ella's name was pulled from a lottery to participate in amateur night at the Apollo Theater. She planned to dance, but at the last minute she decided to sing. She sang Hoagy Carmichael's Judy, and the audience liked it so much that they asked for an encore, so she sang the Boswell Sisters' The Object of My Affections. Needless to say, she won the contest and a $25 prize, which is almost $500 today. In 1935, she won a contest to perform at the Harlem Opera House, where she met Chick Webb, who offered her a gig traveling and gigging with his band. She made her first recording in 1936 called Love and Kisses, but her overnight success came when she recorded A Tisket, a Tasket in 1938. At just 21 years old, she sold 1 million copies. Her song hit #1, and it stayed on the pop charts for 17 weeks. In 1939, her career began to pick up. At this time, when Chick Webb died, she took over his band, and she named it Ella Fitzgerald and Her Famous Band. At the same time, she was also performing with Benny Goodman's orchestra and had her own side project going called Ella Fitzgerald and Her Savoy 8. In 1946, Ella toured with Dizzy Gillespie's band, and she fell in love with and married his bassist, Ray Brown. Now, Ray Brown worked for Norman Granz. Granz saw Ella's talent and wanted to make her an international star. So she started performing with his tour called Jazz at the Philharmonic, and she toured with them through the 1950s and 60s. During this time, she had her partnership with Louis Armstrong, where they recorded several albums together, and she recorded the American Songbook series, which featured songs of Cole Porter, Duke Ellington, the Gershwins, Johnny Mercer, and Irving Berlin. This period of her career is what gave her the title, the First Lady of Song. In 1958, Ella Fitzgerald made history as the first African-American woman to win a Grammy Award. The majority of Ella Fitzgerald's career took place during the Civil Rights Movement. And while her audiences were made up of all cultures, religions, colors, she often faced racial discrimination, particularly when they were touring in the South. Once, while she was on tour with the Jazz at the Philharmonic in Dallas, Texas, her and the other African-American performers were arrested. And when she tells this story, she always said, when we got there, they actually had the nerve to ask for my autograph. However, she also received a lot of support from numerous people, including celebrities. One fan was Marilyn Monroe. And Marilyn Monroe is partially given credit for why Ella Fitzgerald had to stop playing small nightclubs. So Ella Fitzgerald would tell the story that Marilyn Monroe personally called the owner of the Macombo, which was a popular jazz club at the time, and told him that if he booked Ella Fitzgerald to sing at the club, she would sit in the front seat every night that Ella performed. So he agreed, and every night Ella performed, Marilyn Monroe sat in the front seat. And the press loved it. They came, they took pictures, and that's really what kind of boosted Ella Fitzgerald's reputation, and she never had to play a small nightclub after that. In 1987, President Ronald Reagan awarded Ella the National Medal of the Arts. Yale, Dartmouth, and other universities also bestowed her with honorary doctorates. She also has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She continued to perform throughout the 1970s and 80s, despite her declining health. In 1991, she gave her final performance of her career at Carnegie Hall. That was her 26th time performing there. And in 1992, she received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President George H.W. Bush. She also started her own foundation in 1933 called the Ella Fitzgerald Charitable Foundation to help create educational opportunities for children, foster a love and knowledge of music, to provide health care, food, shelter, and counseling for those in need, and help fund medical research for heart disease and diabetes. So these were all things that she was really passionate about and wanted to give back to her community because they were things that she felt she could have benefited from. And she died in June 15th, 1996 in Beverly Hills, California at 79 years old.